The Pittsburgh Steelers have officially closed the chapter on George Pickens' time in the Steel City. The franchise traded the 24-year-old wide receiver to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a third-round pick in the 2026 NFL Draft and a pick swap in the 2027 NFL Draft. While the move itself may not come as a complete surprise, given the months of speculation surrounding Pickens' future, it still marks a significant shift for a Steelers team that, at one point, envisioned Pickens as a cornerstone of their passing game. His departure, however, is unlikely to be the final move Pittsburgh makes at the wide receiver position, especially considering what remains on the depth chart behind newly acquired star DK Metcalf. With Pickens now heading to Dallas, the Steelers are left with a receiving core that is high on potential but low on proven production. Metcalf, who was brought in via a trade with the Seattle Seahawks earlier this offseason and signed to a massive extension, is the undisputed WR1. The physical, explosive wideout provides a much-needed vertical threat and red zone weapon, and his presence alone elevates the offense. But beyond Metcalf, question marks begin to emerge. The trio of Calvin Austin III, veteran Robert Woods, and rookie Roman Wilson currently round out the top of the depth chart. While each brings something different to the table, there's little certainty among them when it comes to consistent, high-volume production. Calvin Austin has flashed speed and agility when healthy, but has yet to carve out a major role in the offense. Robert Woods, now in the later stages of his career, remains a reliable route runner but no longer possesses the explosiveness that once made him a top-tier option. Roman Wilson, a rookie out of Michigan, is full of potential but will need time to develop and adjust to the NFL level. In short, there is talent, but there is also risk. This uncertainty has not gone unnoticed. NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, speaking in the immediate aftermath of the Pickens trade, made it clear that he does not believe the Steelers are done making moves at wide receiver. "I would be surprised if the Steelers are done at the wide receiver position," Rappaport said during a national broadcast. "They are likely to at least sign one more, and there are a couple of talented wide receivers still on the market." The comments from Rappaport carry weight, especially considering his track record and connections within the league. And indeed, when one examines the Steelers' current offensive structure, it becomes clear that another addition is not just possible, it's likely necessary. For Pittsburgh, the path forward could include both free agency and trade scenarios. Among the most notable free agents now available is Gabe Davis, who was recently released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Davis, still just 26 years old, had a productive stint with the Buffalo Bills prior to his time in Jacksonville and is known for his big play ability and playoff performances. He fits the mold of a WR2, someone capable of stretching the field opposite Metcalf while also contributing in the red zone. The Steelers could certainly benefit from a player like Davis, especially considering how much attention Metcalf will command. In a league increasingly reliant on multiple pass-catching weapons, having a legitimate second option is critical. Davis would come with minimal risk and could immediately slot into the starting lineup, allowing the Steelers to be more patient with the development of Roman Wilson and utilize Robert Woods in a more specialized role. But the Steelers' options are not limited to free agency. Trade routes remain very much on the table, and several names have already been floated as potential fits. Two of the most prominent are Allen Lazard of the New York Jets and Romeo Doubs of the Green Bay Packers. What ties both of these players to Pittsburgh is their previous connection with Aaron Rodgers, who, despite ongoing speculation, is still expected to sign with the Steelers. The logic behind bringing in a familiar face for Rodgers is simple: it accelerates the quarterback's integration into the offense. Rodgers, one of the most cerebral and demanding quarterbacks in the league, has historically favored receivers who understand his tendencies and can adjust on the fly. Lazard and Doubs have both played significant snaps alongside Rodgers and would bring that familiarity to Pittsburgh's locker room. Lazard, in particular, is an interesting case. Though his production dipped during his time with the Jets, he remains a big-bodied target with reliable hands and strong blocking ability. His ability to play both outside and in the slot would give the Steelers flexibility in their formations, and his rapport with Rodgers could help stabilize the offense during the early part of the season. Romeo Dew, meanwhile, is a younger option with more upside. Still developing as a route runner, Dew showed flashes of brilliance in Green Bay and could thrive in a new system if given the opportunity. While he may cost more in terms of trade compensation than Lazard or Davis would in free agency, his potential makes him a worthwhile consideration. Regardless of which direction Pittsburgh chooses, it's increasingly clear that more moves are coming. The Pickens trade was not an isolated event, it was a strategic pivot. Whether driven by chemistry concerns, contract negotiations, or a desire to reshape the identity of the offense, the Steelers made a bold choice to move on from a young, productive player. That decision now puts pressure on the front office to ensure they have the pieces necessary to support whichever quarterback ends up under center in 2025. Speaking of quarterback, the team continues to await a final decision from Aaron Rodgers, whose future remains uncertain. Rodgers has not committed to playing another season, though the Steelers continue to be linked as the most likely destination should he return. If Rodgers does choose to sign with Pittsburgh, the urgency to surround him with trusted and capable receivers only increases. Time is not on the team's side, and a slow start to the season could derail postseason hopes. Adding another wide receiver, whether through free agency or a trade, would signal to Rodgers and the rest of the league that Pittsburgh is serious about competing right now. With a defense led by T.J. Watt, a revamped offensive line, and a dynamic duo of Metcalf and a to-be-determined WR2, the Steelers could quietly build one of the most complete rosters in the AFC. In the coming weeks, the organization will continue to evaluate its roster. Training camp is on the horizon, and while coaches will get a closer look at players like Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin, there is no guarantee that either is ready to assume a full-time starting role. Depth and experience will be vital, especially in a conference where nearly every playoff contender features two or more elite receivers. The Steelers have shown over the years that they value wide receiver play. From Hines Ward and Santonio Holmes to Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster, the position has always played a central role in Pittsburgh's offensive identity. The Metcalf trade reaffirmed that commitment. Now, the question is who joins him. Will it be a free agent like Gabe Davis? A trade for a Rodgers confidant like Lazard or Dew? Or perhaps a surprise name not yet being publicly discussed? What's certain is that George Pickens is gone. His departure closes one door but opens several others. The next move will be critical, not just for the offense's success, but for the chemistry and culture the Steelers hope to build in 2025. One trade may be complete, but the puzzle is not finished. Pittsburgh knows it. The league knows it. And before long, fans will know it too. This is only the beginning of what could be a transformative offseason for the Steelers' passing game. The next move might be just around the corner.